Last year, Chinese AI models handled about 1% of the world's AI traffic, and this year they handle close to a third. That happened while America held nearly every advantage that was supposed to settle this race: the chips, the capital, and the leading labs. In 2025, NVIDIA shipped roughly 5 million advanced AI chips, while Huawei, China's champion, shipped only about 800,000. And those chips are not equal, because America's best accelerator is roughly 5 times more powerful than anything China can manufacture today. The factories tell the same story, with American and allied capacity for advanced AI chips running more than 30 times China's, adjusted for quality. Export controls are the reason, leaving China's largest chipmaker stuck at 7 nanometers, unable to buy the machines that etch anything smaller. Then in January, Washington cracked the door open, letting weaker chips into China under a 25% tariff, volume caps, and mandatory testing. But while Washington was busy counting chips, Beijing was counting something you cannot smuggle and you cannot sanction, which is simply electricity. Morgan Stanley estimates American data centers could fall 44 gigawatts short of the power they need within the next 3 years. China builds power before anyone needs it, and its data centers alone could add 500 billion kilowatt hours of demand by 2030. This kind of animation used to take a team, an illustrator, a motion designer, someone in After Effects for days. I made this with one sentence: Higsfield is the creator, Claude is the director, you just ask. No timeline, no keyframes, no technical setup. You describe what you want in plain language, and it builds it. When you click the link, it takes you to this page. There are a few options here for which client you want to use. I'm going with Claude, so I'll click Claude and copy the URL it gives me. Now over in Claude, click the plus icon and you'll see connectors. Hover over that and it opens up. From there, click Add Custom Connector. Give it a name. I'll just call mine Higsfield. Then down below, paste in that MCP URL we just copied and hit Add. I've already connected this earlier, so I'm getting an error saying a server with this URL already exists. If you haven't connected before, it'll just add straight away. Once that's done, you should see it in your connectors. If it's not showing up, open Manage Connectors, and there it is. So I just need to hit Connect. That opens a new tab and asks me to log in. Use whatever Google account you signed up to Higsfield with. It asks for permission, so click Allow, and we're connected. Let me switch the model. I'll use Opus 5. One thing worth understanding, Claude isn't generating anything. Higsfield is what generates the image, the video, the voice, all of it. Claude is the director. It tells Higsfield what to make and how it should look. That's the split. So now that we're connected, I'm going to ask it, create a product image for a meta ad. Upload it as an element in Higsfield to keep the product consistent, then create 4 ad videos featuring that same product using different visual styles and different actors. It's asking where the product image should come from. I can upload my own photo or have it generate from a description. For this demo, I'll let it generate. I want it handling everything, image through to video. Aspect ratio, I'll go 9:16, since this is for meta. And I'm not going to spend time spec'ing the product out. I'll just say, I trust your expertise, feel free to make all the decisions. It wants permission to explore models from Higsfield. Allow. It's generating the product image with Nano Banana 2. The text on the packaging is off. Some misspellings, some of it's straight up gibberish, so I'll tell it to use GPT Image 2 instead and rerun at the highest quality available. Alright, that's much cleaner. I can't vouch for the product name or exactly what's written on there, but the text isn't gibberish anymore. That's usable, so let's move on. I'll tell it to go ahead. It wants permission to pull the finished asset so it can register it as an element. I'll hit Always Allow. These are assets I've generated before with Higsfield and Claude, and now the product we just made is in there too. Add it as a new element. It classified it as a prop, status completed. So it worked out on its own that this is a product and tagged it correctly. Now I'll tell it, run all 4 at the best resolution available, go ahead and fire them up. And the videos are done.
Guys, I've been using this for a week and my skin feels so different. Obsessed.
One thing, The text on the product is flipped horizontally here. Let's look at the second one. Yeah, so that's 4 short meta ad videos from one prompt and one product. And you could push this to 10, 20, however many you want, and A/B test to see which one performs best. Think about what that replaces. Hiring an agency, casting actors, shooting, that's time and money. Here you write one sentence and get multiple variations back to test. That's pretty incredible. That was quick and simple. But if I want to go further, Higsfield has Marketing Studio, which is built specifically for ad videos. Let's have it go through Marketing Studio. I'm telling it to use my elements, including that product image we just made, and to pick whichever preset and content format fits best. It's pulling all the elements available on my Higsfield account. So now it's converting those elements into avatars, so they can be used in Marketing Studio. And the videos are done. Same product across all of them, but now it's running through the avatars. Let's have a look.
I was skeptical, then my morning skin felt calm. I use it nightly after cleansing, 2 drops. Matte black bottle, smooth dropper, no mess, no stick. Want easy glow? Add it tonight. This is me in the morning, dull, puffy, and so tired. Last night I used a few drops of my nighttime serum. Watch what it does. Same face, but look at that glow. I look actually rested. If you want to wake up looking refreshed, this is the one I reach for at night.
I quit waking up tight and dull. 2 drops, sinks in fast, never greasy. Bacufol, Protides, Niacinamide, Clean Nightlight Trio. Nightly, my skin looks rested. Noir Serum.
Each using different presets. Honestly, the product itself isn't a great one to showcase. With a better product, these would look a lot stronger. I could tell it exactly what I want here. The format, the flow, the mood, the pacing, my own style. I'm just letting it decide. That's one use case. Let's try something else. Faceless YouTube videos. We can hand it the whole thing, plan it, pick the topic, write the script, generate the visuals. All the stuff that normally eats your time. New chat, Opus 5 is fine, but this time, let me try Fable 5. Here's what I'm asking. I want to launch a faceless YouTube channel. I need you to act as creative director, pick a high-demand niche based on current data, set the style and pacing, write the script, and produce a 2-minute faceless video. 2 minutes because this is just a demo. I don't want to burn a load of credits on a 10-minute video. And I'll add, make sure it stays consistent and high quality throughout without feeling generic. I trust your expertise to decide everything. Notice I haven't given it a link. I haven't told it what to research. No niche, nothing. Just plain language, whatever came to mind. You don't need any special knowledge here. You say what you want, and you let it be the expert. I've got vidIQ connected, so it's using that for keyword research. It's free, and it's genuinely useful. You can also hand it a YouTube channel URL and ask it to pull inspiration. If you find a channel that's performing well, give it the link and ask it to analyze the content, the hooks, the pacing, how the channel is structured. It's not going to copy it, but your videos will come out in a similar shape. Now it's asking about voiceover and listing the voices it found. I've got my own cloned voice, so I'll use that. Skill Destiny 1. If you'd rather use one of Higgsfield's presets, there are voice actors in there. It's picked Kling 3.0 Turbo. That's not the best model available. It chose that on its own, probably based on my credit balance. I could have told it to use a specific model, but I left it to decide. Let's look at the video. This is a 20-ton anchor. And here's the strange part. It's not what's holding the ship in place. Almost none of the holding power comes from the anchor at all. Cut the chain, and it's nearly useless. Because an anchor isn't a hook. It's the end of a system. And the system is the chain. When a ship drops anchor, the chain doesn't hang straight down. The crew pays out 5 to 7 times the water's depth. It came out really good. One thing, I didn't ask for subtitles here. But in an earlier chat, I'd ask it to add subtitles to something else, so it carried that over even though I never mentioned it this time. On the seabed. And that's the trick. When wind or current pushes the ship, it has to lift that wall of steel off the bottom. Link by link, the chain rises, absorbing the load before any force ever reaches the anchor. A spring made of gravity. The anchor's real job is smaller and smarter. Its flukes dig into the seabed like a plow. Pull it horizontally, and it digs deeper. The harder the storm pulls, the harder the seabed holds. Pull it straight up, like the crew does when it's time to leave, and it pops free. So a ship in a storm isn't nailed to the ocean floor. It's leaning on a curve of steel. A 1,000-year-old idea that still outsmarts the sea. And that's a Faceless YouTube video. It picked this niche itself, presumably because the research showed it's trending right now. You can also do the research yourself. Find a niche or a format that's in demand, and just tell it what to make. And like I mentioned, if you find channels that are working well, share the URL and it'll pull inspiration from them. It analyzes the script, the pacing, the mood, and applies a similar structure. Not a copy, just the shape of what's working. So instead of hiring an editor, a scriptwriter, and a YouTube strategist, you can have it do the whole thing. All right, let me show you another use case. Since I've already got the connector set up, I'll click into Code. This time we're not using the normal chat, we're using Code. From here, I'll drag the skill into the chat and then write my prompt. This time we're using a skill to do animation. So I've uploaded the skill, and in the prompt I'll say, make a 2-minute documentary style explainer about the AI race between the US and China. 16:9. It's generating now, and it'll produce both the voiceover and the video. Then combine them into one file. Each clip is 10 seconds, and those get stitched into a single video. And it's finished. Let's see the result. Last year, Chinese AI models handled about 1% of the world's AI traffic, and this year they handle close to a third. That happened while America held nearly every advantage that was supposed to settle this race: the chips, the capital, and the leading labs. In 2025, NVIDIA shipped roughly 5 million advanced AI chips, while Huawei, China's champion, shipped only about 800,000. And those chips are not equal, because America's best accelerator is roughly 5 times more powerful than anything China can manufacture today. The factories tell the same story, with American and allied capacity for advanced AI chips running more than 30 times China's, adjusted for quality. Export controls are the reason, leaving China's largest chipmaker stuck at 7 nanometers, unable to buy the machines that etch anything smaller. Then in January, Washington cracked the door open, letting weaker chips into China under a 25% tariff, volume caps, and mandatory testing. But while Washington was busy counting chips, Beijing was counting something you cannot smuggle and you cannot sanction, which is simply electricity. Morgan Stanley estimates American data centers could fall 44 gigawatts short of the power they need within the next 3 years. China builds power before anyone needs it, and its data centers alone could add 500 billion kilowatt hours of demand by 2030. And China gives its best models away, with QWN passing 1 billion downloads to overtake Meta as the most downloaded open model on Earth. So the question was never really about who builds the smartest machine in the world, but about who can afford to switch it on and let everyone else plug in. So click the link in the description and start creating. Try it yourself and see what it can do for you.